Welcome to the Mind of Psychic, where we talk music, addiction, comedy, culture. If you like this content, please leave feedback and subscribe. Let's get into it. Today, on this episode, I want to discuss flashbacks of when I got sober, the clear headedness, how I was more focused, so forth. I remember the first few months of sober and the thoughts that were coming through my head, the memories that were coming back. Now, at that time, I was drinking for 12 years straight, maybe 13, nonstop every day. And in within that 2 months of sobriety and everything, the thoughts and memories started coming back to me. Stuff that I never really thought of before. And it's kind of a wake up call, but a good wake up call. You think, how how did I live all those years doing that? And I'm not even talking about the health. I'm talking about the mental state, the mental feeling. It's it's one of those things. It's really hard to understand unless you've lived it. I I know now what it was like to have to understand. But for instance, I was having memories from high school, like, oh, that remember that, and way I was behaving and stuff like that. I guess when you drink for so long, stuff just put back in the back of your mind. It's something different, but it happened. But some of the memories, they're just wow. And I really thought about the different situations, but not to the extent that I fully understood. Some of the flashbacks, super detailed, in depth, and outright scary. I didn't have an idea of pushing those thoughts back for so long. Just it was unbelievable. There are times thinking about it sober, in sober mind, holy moly, just straight crazy. For instance, the day my mom died, I was right there. S- Saddest day of my life, knowing that I really couldn't do anything. And then you start to process, what should I have done? What could I have done? So learning that, so feeling that as a sober person was a kick in the face, especially that one memory. I remember just thinking about it and my stomach just turns to this day. So all of those memories, flashbacks, even smells, just super intense. And it's one of those things that you it's real. It's a real world now. Left all the bullshit behind and you're moving forward. But was one of those things that you just can't understand unless you lived it. I we have tons of memories, I get it. But when you're sober and the vivid thoughts, the clarity, it's like nothing else. It's like I wish I would have thought this way the entire time. But what would I have learned? It's important to get that grasp. And it's okay when you're going through these emotions to feel choked up because you're actually feeling and it may feel foreign, but that's why it's there. It's that purpose. Things you would think about are not they what they should have been. Looking back, I found the realism and the strength to think about it and learn from it and move forward. Knowing what I know now, knowing how much of a jackass I was, it's important. You need to understand it. And sitting in the guess you would call it a drunk tank or whatever, I'm still not fully aware what's going on. So somehow I get touch with my mom who's visiting her best friend in Arizona. So she does a red eye out there because she's worried. I remember my aunt and uncle bailing me out, and they were just pissed beyond belief, which I get totally. I get it. I don't think we spoke for like 3 months after that of what's going on in there. It was needed. So mom gets home. I pick her up from the airport. She was like, "What's going on? What happened?" And at that point, I didn't realize the severity of what was happening, but I had a like, how does this one substance do all of this? It's amazing. I wanna bring you to a funny story. Wasn't funny at the time, but now it is. And I can talk about this and laugh. So one day, my buddy and I recording a track. We got done probably 1 or 2. I'm like, "Dude, let's go to a bar." And we decided, "Let's go to downtown Lexington." Now, at this time, I was living in Georgetown, so that's about 20 miles northwest of Lexington. It's a suburb. So, me and my friend drive the 20-25 minutes to downtown. It was probably longer than that. It was a long time, so I don't remember exactly, but it wasn't walking distance. So we head out. It's about 2 o'clock. We hit up the first bar and just start drinking, and I start throwing back tequila. I start throwing back Jaeger. Yeah, what a combo, right? Not eating. And then I start buying random people drinks. Then I wake up in the hospital, arrested. So apparently between that time, I kept on drinking, went outside of the bar and was stumbling around, vomiting in front of someone's business. So they called the police. And I guess I was sort of just not responding in fashion. I was so drunk. So they ended up calling the ambulance. And that's when I woke up to a nurse in the emergency room with a catheter being a total prick, being scared because I didn't know what was going on. And then as soon as they discharged me, of course, I was arrested and taken to jail. I had a hearing that that day, like literally 2 hours after I picked my mom up. So we went to court. I'm freaking out. I've never even got a ticket at this point in my life. So being in a courtroom was scarier than hell. So I'm thinking I'm going back to jail because super paranoid. I don't know what to expect. I don't have a lawyer. I don't know any of this. I get before the judge and they're like, since this is your first offense, so there was a Goodwill near my work. Literally, I think if I remember correctly, it was in the same it was in the same strip mall as my work. And I didn't want anybody to know, but I needed to get it done. So I was able to do it in a weekend, a Saturday, Sunday, and then the following Saturday. Got that done. So when I got that completed and everything, okay, never doing this again. I got off super easy. It was drunk and disorderly. That was the charge. And this was 13, 14 years ago. So I'm not really exactly sure. I think they said they would not, I don't know if dismiss or it was something. I'm not really sure. I should know, but so long ago. I was so focused on getting that part done, I really didn't think about anything else. But during the that night of drinking and partying, I didn't have I had my wallet when I remember, but when I woke up, I didn't. So I'm like, yeah, I must have left it at the bar. The next morning, I call them like, "Hey, um, what's going on? Do you have my wallet?" I really don't know what happened, and it was the bartender who helped me the day before. She's like, "You don't remember?" I'm like, "It's probably good you don't." Okay. She did thank me because I left a $150 tip. I always thought I was the shit when I was drinking because the happiness I thought I was doing, feeling, was buying people drinks, leaving good tips, so on and so forth, blowing through money like it was water. I mean, I wasn't working crazy amount of hours back then. I was still in school, getting that stuff done. But I remember then I texted my friend and I'm like, "What happened?" And I know he was going through his own stuff. So he was like, dude, I took off. I went to work." And I'm like, "Dude, I can't find my wallet." He's like, "No, I have your wallet." So from that point, we got super close. So that was say 2011, 2012. Uh, yeah, my life went on. So looking back, it was funny. So what I found out was across the street from the bar was a hospital emergency room and so forth. I get a couple of months later, I get a bill in the mail for $3,500. Like, what is this? So, of course, when the police called emergency services, they had to take me to the hospital. They had to do the whole ambulance thing, put me up on the, you know, the gurney and all of that stuff. But I get the bill. I'm like, it's literally across the street. Why are they charging me $3,500? Because my mind is like, dude, it's literally across the street. Like they could have thrown me in a wheelbarrow and charged me 200. I know that's not how the system works, but um that that was probably the funniest part. Like, damn, that's nuts. $3,500. It was one of those flashbacks, of course. Okay. It's okay to laugh about now. But long story short, don't get super drunk across the street from a hospital. and then end up there and have a $3,500 bill. And then that wasn't even the hospital bill. Emergency was like another like 5 grand. So that one night that I thought I was having fun and I screwed up cost me a lot of money. But these are all experiences that I never thought would play integral role now that I'm sober. Never thought of it before. But these are all learning, and these are all situations and times I was able to I I can't believe I did that, but I did. What I wanna do, I'm not saying don't have fun, don't enjoy company, don't not go out. Just be smart about it. See, back in that time, they didn't have Uber, um, that kinda stuff, which I think is a game changer now. Moral of this, be true to yourself, don't go crazy on doing drugs, alcohol, and stuff like that. You can still party and have fun. So just think about it. Just think about it a little bit and just be safe. Having that support is very helpful. But now, 13 years later, I can I get it. I get it. These are all moments that I can't take back, and I feel I wouldn't be the same person without those memories. I think it's that time when it's okay to reflect and just laugh. How stupid I was and inconsiderate I was during that time. And I can't tell you how many times I apologized to everybody in my life with authorities and the courts and stuff like that. So that was a story from way back then. Just remember, sobriety clears your head, clears your brain. Remember, recovery is not a race. Just remember, recovery is not a race. Thank you. You're going to do 20 hours of community service, have a month to do it. Okay. And there was like a $250 fine. So after that, I had to go to the clerk, pay the fine, and then get the community service set up so I could start doing it. So all of those actions have consequences, whether it's monetary, whether it's having issues with falling out with your family or whatever. But once you get into that routine of your, if it's drugs or it's alcohol like me, do it every single day and it becomes habit, just affects your life in such a negative way that even years later, oh, I could have done this, I could have done that. Thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe and leave a comment. You can hear me on all major platforms and socials under the Mind of Psychic podcast. See you next time.